your hand. What is pyramid of number? Because we completed in the previous class. You have not understood pyramid of number. If someone understood, can raise hand. There's no point of confusion. I will clear that confusion. Whatever the point you have of confusion, let me ask Nabiha what is saying. Yes, yes, Nabiha. Yes. Hmm. Yes, very good. So, means like there's one point only related to things you told just now that like producers, they whatever the energy they have means whatever the energy they convert solar energy convert into the chemical energy. Out of that means whatever it is, how much it is, out of that only 10% will go to the next trophic level, and 90% is used by the producers for their own metabolic activities, and some of it is what you can say destroyed also in the form of like if you talk about, I mean, through the eating process some of the nutrients are wasted, like when we make food at that time also some of the means peeling peels of the vegetables and fruits we just throw, means all the part of the fruit we are not eating. So means due to the eating process, or the organism used for its own metabolic activity, mm, that only 10% move to the next trophic level, and whatever now reach to the next trophic level, the energy the next trophic level organisms are having, only of that 10% goes to the next trophic level. So it means on every trophic level 90% energy is just lost in the form of heat, you can say, because the organism which uses the energy, that is also the form of heat. So that's utilized by the organism, and rest 10% is just transferred to the next sorry, next trophic level. Here the pyramid of number is actually, I don't know what the confusion you people have. Very simple it is. It's a representation of the number of producer and consumer in a food chain. Means it's just a relationship to show on a paper, um, in a graphical pattern. So means usually, always, you can say that producers are more in number. Means in the pyramid mostly the producers are more in number, and then progressive decrease in the number of organisms of each successive level, of each trophic level. Means successive decrease is there, and other organisms, you can say consumers, on every trophic level. So usually this pyramid is of upright pyramid, as it is given in your book, page number 57. So means like the base is broad, and then gradually it is what you can say decreases, gradually decreases. So it's like a upright pyramid. But in some cases it's inverted inverted pyramids are also there. There are some other conditions, but right now, what you have to know about pyramid of number, that is just a representation of number of producers and consumer in a food chain. Means the relation of the producers and the consumer. How many types of consumer and how they depend. Yes. Hmm. No, it's not like this, my dear. It's not like this. Don't be confused with it. Like, suppose you just think about, herbivores. Okay, they eat herbs, plants. Okay, so they, during the process of eating, so during at the time of digestive system also some of the substances are excreted as excretory waste material, and most of the nutrient body uses, if you talk about us only, we are omnivores, we eat animals and the plants both. So when we eat, so during the cooking process also, some of the nutrient loses, means during cooking and while making it, means cutting and all. So means yes. 10% of. Mhm. Mhm. Means if the organisms, like suppose you talk about a plant, okay, you the whole plant someone is not eating, the sum of the part of it is taken by it, like few of the vegetable of it, you can say. And then those also, the whole is very few cases that is eaten by somebody, that those people are, what you can say, eaten raw, in the form of salad and all. But after eating, what happened, uh, during different metabolic processes, they are utilized by the body, and body is utilized for doing all different life processes. For every life processes, for every action, for every activity, organism need energy. Even the blinking of eye, even the moving of hand, even for talking, even for sitting, we need energy. So for all those activities, our body used up all those nutrients. And what we store, a little amount of food, it is stored in the body, in the form of glycogen in the liver, in the form of fatty fats in the adipose tissues. So this is actually, means whatever the from what you can say, the previous trophic level, that when it comes to the next trophic level, how much is stored in the body? Just a little amount. So that little amount, when some other organism will eat that, that will go to a, means like the next level organism, and again, means just 10% is, what you can say, left in it to be, to, what you can say, forward into the next trophic level. So most of it they used for their own life processes, for own metabolic activities, and some of it is stored. So during the process of, means like survival, the most of the nutrients are utilized by the organism, and some are, they can be lost in the form of heat also. Is there still confusion? So means like, it's not like that the whole organism is eaten by the another organism will get the same amount of nutrient as the organism consumed. Whatever the organism consumed, it utilized for the body activities. The means the few of the nutrient is stored in the body. Anyway, so parameter of number is, don't be confused with it. It's just a representation of the relation between the producers and the consumer. Consumer, different level of consumer, how they are interrelated, how they depend on the, what you can say, the different trophic levels. This representation is actually called pyramid of numbers. So now we move to the interdependence of organisms between interdependence of between organisms means how the organisms are depend on each other, how they help each other. So in this actually we already studied in the lower classes also, that is like symbiosis and parasitism. We already know about it. So do you have some idea about symbiosis? Raise your hand. Yes. Do you have some idea? Okay, two hands are already raised. I don't know they have some idea about symbiosis or not. Okay, Munazza, you tell me. Yes. So okay, okay, you can also tell. Yes. Okay. Sim means mutual. So symbiosis is actually the relationship where the organisms they mutually help each other. They get benefited each other. So here, so many examples are there. One example in your book is also there of that is leguminous plants and the rhizobium bacteria. Means leguminous plants roots are having the nodules in their roots, and in those nodules one bacteria lives that is called rhizobium bacteria. And what the function of rhizobium bacteria is to convert atmospheric nitrogen into the solid. You can note down. If you, yes, of course, if you feel any point to note down, of course you can note down, and that will be okay. So means symbiosis is actually a relationship between two organisms they, which mutually help each other. So many examples we can give in this context, but here one example is there in your book, that is leguminous plants and the rhizobium bacteria. Leguminous plants roots are having nodules, and in those nodules one bacteria lives that is called rhizobium bacteria. And what's the function of rhizobium bacteria? The function of rhizobium bacteria is to convert atmospheric nitrogen into soluble form of nitrogen. Means we everyone know that 78% nitrogen is present in the atmosphere, but we cannot utilize. We need nitrogen. We human beings, we animals, we all the plants, we means all the organisms need nitrogen for making the protein. But we cannot utilize it directly from the atmosphere. It cannot be utilized directly. It's insoluble form. As it goes through the breath inside, it comes in the same way out. Means like when we breathe, the mixture of air goes inside. Oxygen is utilized by the body means it combined with the hemoglobin, and as a result of respiration, carbon dioxide is released in the body. So that carbon dioxide and the other gases which are present in the what you can say air, they all comes out. Means the nitrogen and the other gases, they are not utilized by the body. They, as they goes inside, they comes back in the same proportion. So this nitrogen cannot be utilized by any organism directly from the atmosphere. So this rhizobium having the one special feature or capability to convert atmospheric nitrogen into soluble form of nitrogen, and in this way rhizobium bacteria provide extra amount of nitrogen to leguminous plants, because we know that leguminous plant produce protein rich food. So for that purpose, they need more nitrogen for making the fruit, and that is provided by the rhizobium bacteria. And as a result, what rhizobium bacteria gets? Rhizobium bacteria gets shelter, of course, the one who the organism what the need of shelter, of course, and the other is food. So it gets nutrient from the plant. So it gets shelter as well as food from the plant. So plant provides shelter and food, and rhizobium bacteria provide nitrogen, soluble form of nitrogen, extra nitrogen which the plant needs for making its food. So they both help each other. So they mutually help each other. This type of relationship is known as symbiosis. Other examples are also there, like in LICHEN, like in association of fungi and algae. Fungi is non-grain, and algae, they are the chlorophyllous primitive plants. So they live together, and they both help each other. Like means yes. Hmm. They, no. I have shared link also on the group. They can join from the group. I have not even the no notification. No, I have not logged the meeting. Meeting is not logged, and there's a link on the what you can say WhatsApp group. They can join through that. Oh. Okay, so another example is of lichen. Lichen is the association of fungi and algae. They both are mutually help each other. That fungi, it is non-chlorophyllous. It cannot make its own food, but what it can do, it just absorb the nutrient and water and provide to the algae. And algae, with the chlorophyll present, it is autotrophic, so it makes food. So fungi provide the raw material to the algae, and algae make food, and that food is utilized by the fungi as well. So they both are helping each other. They mutually help each other. One provide raw material, one provide the cooked food. So in this way, they both are helping each other. Now, another independence example of interdependence is parasitism. So, do you have some idea about parasitism? Because this is also we studied in the lower classes. Just raise your hand. Only two hands are there. Yes, can raise hand. Only two hands are raised. Where are other students and they don't know about parasitism? What are parasites? Do you have some idea about parasites? Yes, raise your hand. Three hands. Okay, Mohammed Adeep, tell me what is parasite? Yes. Okay, Nabia, you tell me. Okay, Nabia, you tell me. Hmm? Yes, say again. Okay, good. So yes, of course. Parasitism is actually, this is also the relationship between the two organisms. Here also the two organisms involved in the same way as the two organisms involved in the symbiosis, but the case is different in parasitism. Here only one organism is beneficial and another is harm. Means only one get the benefit and other get the harm from the organism. In this case, that there is the association of two organisms, or the relationship between the two organisms. Uh, One provide nutrient, shelter, and all, and other just harm, means just you can say harm the organism. Example, like you can many parasites of human being also, they live inside the body, or so they cause disease, means they get the shelter as well as food from the body, and they cause disease to the body. So they just harm the another organism. So the organism which is beneficial is known as parasite, means they get benefit at the expense of others harm, you can say. So another organism which is harmed, that is called host. Means where the this beneficial organism lives, or derives the food, that actually that organism is host. So the organism which lives and get the nutrient, means get the shelter and the nutrient, that is actually the parasite, and on which it lives and gets, from where it gets the nutrient, that organism actually called host. So in this always parasite is always beneficial organism, it gets the benefit from the host, and host always harmed. Harmed in the case that it loses its nutrient, and along with it the toxins are released by the parasite, that is also cause diseases, different diseases in the body. So parasitism is a relation between two organisms where one organism can get benefit from other organisms. So one is at harmed and another is get benefit from it. So this type of relationship is known as parasitism. So one example is given in your book also. So there is an example of parasitism is the relationship between stay worm and man. Stay worm, round worm, different sort of worms. They are the parasite of man, and they live in the intestine of human and derive nutrition by sucking the digested nutrient from the intestinal wall, to which it gets attached. So these tapeworms, they attach to the intestinal wall and they just absorb the nutrient. As a result, the man or the person in which the where the their intestine, which what you can say parasite lives. So that also harms. And as they attach to the wall of the intestine, so they will, they leave the wound also on the wall. As a result, means if they will be more numbered in reached in the intestine, so one can lead to death also. They more than enough they will be reached in the body. That's why after every means regularly after every 6 months, one should take medicine to get rid the parasites from your body, like, especially worms, because the worms, eggs, they go in the digestive tract through the food and water, and they just what you can say grow in the intestine, and then they get the shelter as well as food from the organism, from the person or wherever they just what you can say parasite. So in parasitism, one gets benefited and another is harmed. Now the another type of relationship interdependence is the predation. Predation. Here some hands are raised. Want to say something? Sadika Shakil? Yes, beta, what do you want to say? Okay, tell me then. So the next is predation. Predation is also a relationship between Predation is also a relationship between two organisms such that one organism hunts down the other for food. In this case, the hunter is called predator, while the hunted animal is called prey. So here also two organisms are involved. This is the relationship between the two organisms, and here also that one get benefited and other harmed only, means the hunter or the predator that only is benefited, and the prey, and while the means the hunted animal is the prey and that is at harm. So there's the example given in the book that predator prey relationship, that one is one between a tiger and a deer. Tiger hunts and kills deer for food. So predator prey relationship is essential to maintain balance in the ecosystem, and that is also necessary. If they will not be eaten up, then there will be increase in number. They disturb the whole what you can say food chain. So this is here in the interdependence we are actually studying how the two organisms um, depend on each other, or how it gets benefit from others. They may be means they benefited each other, mutually help each other, or there may be the relationship in which one gets the benefit, another gets harm. So only symbiosis is the relationship where the both organisms can benefit to each other, and parasitism and predator in that only one organism is the beneficial organism, another is the harmed organism. So this all about the interdependence between organisms. Now, abiotic component. We already discussed about abiotic component, uh, like in the beginning of the chapter. Yes. So So whatever I have covered till now, like interdependence of organisms, if you have some confusion regarding it, you can ask. Means like raise your hand so that I will unmute you. Only Munazza's hand is there. Okay, Munazza.